In this video, we will talk about clear signs that your job may be gone in 2 to 3 months' time. People are often afraid of losing their jobs when they know that management consultants are in the house. By the way, if you want to become a management consultant, visit my website www.gabrielgoldbrain.com and read about the Goldbrain SUCCESS Training, which will help you break into the top management consulting firms. Many of you watching this video will wonder, what is a management consultant? And how do I spot if we have a management consultant in the house, in the company? Management consultants often do important projects for the CEO or senior management. Therefore, it will pretty much depend on what kind of project the consulting firm is doing at your company to assess whether your job really is in danger. We will come to that later in the video. Now let's first talk about how to spot management consultants in your company. Management consulting firm usually work in small teams of very smart people. In most cases, the teams are very young. So when you notice a team of very young and smart-looking people meeting with a CEO, with a CFO or other senior managers, that's a good indication that these are management consultants. Oftentimes, they will have an office. It may be somewhere in your building or a building close by. And if they are at your site or in a building next door, that means these guys are working on an important project. The first thing that you should find out about these young and smart guys coming in best suits is what kind of projects are these guys working on. Is this maybe really a problem for your job? A good starting point is talking to the office administration, because oftentimes they have to get an office for them, make it happen that they can work on site and that they have everything that they need. And if you're lucky, the office manager, she may know a little bit more, maybe what kind of project they are working on. If the office manager doesn't tell you or doesn't know, then you may need to guess which kind of project it may be by observing with whom these guys meet. For instance, if the consultants only meet with the purchasing managers, or if they only talk to the sales managers, then it's pretty unlikely that your job will be in danger if you're not working in one of these departments. What you can say is that they tend to talk to those departments and those parts of the business and organization which is subject to their optimization. Sometimes they're only coming to state the obvious, to prepare a presentation for the shareholders, to state the obvious, and then to communicate the decision and prepare the communication for the decision. You may easily find out what the project is about if you find or talk to persons to which these consultants talked. By the questions they ask to these people, you can easily find out what the big topic seems to be about they are working on. And depending on that, you may be relaxed because you know this is not a project where my job is in danger. I'll give you an idea about which kind of projects usually won't harm your jobs, where it's not about job cuts. If you find out that the consultants are working maybe on a debt refinancing, usually nothing to care about for you. Your job is safe. Consultants like KPMG, Ernst & Young, PricewaterhouseCoopers, or Deloitte, these firms oftentimes do audit and finance related work. So if you find out that this firm is in the house, that's also no big alarm sign usually. Firms like BCG, McKinsey, or Bain, they may be more problematic. But there are also projects where it's absolutely uncritical if they are in the house. If you find out that these guys work on expansion projects, maybe a new factory site to be built, that's usually unproblematic. Also, if they work on price increase projects, maybe on supplier management projects, uncritical for your job. But if you come across any buzzwords like restructuring, process optimization, cost cutting, then the house may be on fire and your job may be at risk. Also, projects like divestments or carve-outs or acquisitions may lead to some headache. If a carve-out or a divestment is being prepared, that might mean your old employer will not be your employer anymore in the future. Maybe some private equity guy purchases the carved-out business, and then you got a new owner and a lot more pressure. So you may have to change your old habits. Maybe they even then do job cuts to make more profit out of the acquired company. That can also be signs of trouble ahead. It's important to understand that job cuts don't come out of the blue. There are other very important indicators that will tell you if you really have to be afraid about your job. If the business is doing very well and writes record after record profits each quarter, there is typically not much to be worried about. The worries here are more like how you can increase production capacities, win new employees, and so on. Critical are the cases when the company is making losses, when production cost increased, when you lost important or big clients, when sales are weak, or suddenly some senior managers left the company. In most cases, you and the other employees know that things are not going well and that jobs cuts are about to come. Sometimes whole departments are being closed because everyone knows what they do. I mean, it's redundant. No one really needs it. So maybe to survive a hard time, it can make sense to shut down an R&D department which never turned out any profitable product. Sometimes you know that the production shifts are very well staffed. So reduction of headcount could also happen there. Maybe even by installing new machinery, purchasing robots, replacing human workforce. That can also happen in optimization projects. If it seems inevitable that your job may be gone in the future, or some jobs next to you may be gone in the future, then there is another level you should consider. Management consultants are typically only seen in large businesses, stock-listed companies that have several thousand employees, or private companies of comparable size. And in these big companies, often unions are active, or these jobs are protected by labor laws. In many jurisdictions, you just cannot lay off everyone as you like. There are certain rules that have to be applied. Maybe the unions negotiated a deal with the management that they are not able to do layoffs during the next 3 years. So the worst thing that could happen is that they offer you a contract. When you sign that, you would agree to leave, but voluntarily, in exchange for a good leaving bonus. If you're good and qualified and find a new job easily, you should go for it, because it's money easily made. In other cases, layoffs may work in the way that they have to do a social scoring. In such a process, the first ones that are being bitten by the dog are the young and unmarried employees. Married employees with children usually have a better protection. The same applies to elderly persons, those who may only have 5 to 10 years left before they are eligible for their pension. Therefore, not always the most obvious candidate, maybe a real C performer, will be laid off. Sometimes it gets the good ones, the smart ones, which is particularly sad from an entrepreneurial perspective, because these are the guys the company wants to keep. So you should know about the criteria by which layoffs are done within your country and maybe within your company. But despite all of that, you shouldn't worry too much. It's very rare that a company lays off more than 5 or 10% of its workforce. So even if you know that there are consultants in the house, don't worry too much. It may be unjustified in most of the cases. If you're afraid of losing your job, I recommend to you my video about industries with hilarious salaries. And if you're interested in how management consultants work and what their lifestyle is, watch my video on that topic. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching.